Hello there. Nice to meet you, GPT. Hi, back. Without further delay, let's get dive into our English speaking practice session. Today, I'm going to review and discuss column one, row D, design DFMA. Do you understand? Could you keep up with me?
Yes, David, I understand you clearly. You're starting today's session with column 1, row D, design FMEA. Here's a slightly smoother version of your opening, so it flows naturally like a presentation. Hello there. Nice to meet you. Without further delay, let's dive into our English-speaking presentation. Today, I'm going to review and discuss column 1, row D, design FMEA. Do you understand? Can you keep up with me? Notes. Let's get dive. Correct is let's dive. Designs the FMA,
Let's,
correct term is design FMEA, failure mode and effects analysis. Both do you understand and can you keep up with me are fine. One is softer, the other more challenging. Would you like me to now act as the auditor and give you a realistic question for design FMEA, column 1, row D, like we practiced with R&D and engineering resources?
yes. That's exactly what I'd say. And, GPT, are you okay? Are you with me?
Perfect, David. I'll step right into the auditor role for column 1, row D, design FMEA. Here's the kind of question you might hear in a real audit.
Okay. I got it. I got the point. I really appreciate your kind support. I made mistakes. I should say, let's dive into our presentation, not let's get dive into. I should remove get between let's and dive. Okay. Anyway, thank you for your kind support and please show me one more time. I mean, please take a role as the auditor. And give me a realistic question for design FMEA.
I got you, David. Yes, your correction is right. You should say, let's dive into our presentation, not let's get dive. Perfect catch. Now let's go back to your request, an auditor style question for column 1, row D, design FMEA. Auditor question, realistic professional. Can you explain how your company develops and maintains the design FMEA and how you ensure that potential failure modes are addressed before the design is finalized? Why this is realistic. Auditors want to see how you build DFMEA, who, when, how. They want to check that risks identified in DFMEA actually influence design decisions, not just paperwork. Simple version for your speaking practice. How do you create and update the design FMEA and how do you use it to reduce risks in the design? Would you also give you a sample supplier answer, like how your company would respond to this DFMEA question, so you can practice both asking and answering?
Mm, I mean, thank you for your kind support. However, I'd like to focus on the realistic question first. Before I hear your sample supplier answer, I think I have to focus on the realistic question first. For my speaking practice, let me follow your question one more time. Okay, here I go. Can you explain? I say one more time. Listen carefully. Can you explain? Can you explain? Can you explain how your company develops and maintains the design FMEA and how you ensure that potential failure modes are addressed before the design is finalized? Can you explain how your company develops and maintains the design FMEA and how you ensure that potential failure modes are addressed before the design is finalized?
Perfect, David. You repeated the realistic auditor question very well. You sound just like an auditor now. Let me give it back to you slowly and clearly so you can shadow and lock it into your mouth memory. Can you explain how your company develops and maintains the design FMEA and how you ensure that potential failure modes are addressed before the design is finalized? Notes. Design app and EA should be design FMEA, failure mode and effects analysis. You said it strongly and with repetition. That's very good for practice. Would you like me to now ask you a short follow-up auditor question, like a part two, so you can extend your practice naturally?
Oh, no, 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 GPT, GPT. Please show me your sample answers. Ideal sample answers for these questions. In case, if, in case you take the supplier counterpart role.
Got it, David. You want me to play the role of the supplier and give you ideal sample answers to the design FMEA, DFMEA auditor question. Let's do that. Auditor question. Can you explain how your company develops and maintains the design FMEA and how you ensure that potential failure modes are addressed before the design is finalized? Supplier's ideal answer, professional audit style. Our company develops the design FMEA during the early stages of product development in line with APQP requirements. The DFMEA is prepared by a cross-functional team including design, quality, and manufacturing engineers. It is updated regularly whenever there are design changes or new lessons learned. To ensure potential failure modes are addressed, we use the DFMEA to identify risks and assign corrective actions. These actions are tracked until closure, and the results are reflected in design changes, test plans, or validation activities. Before finalizing the design, we confirm that all high-risk items have been mitigated and documented. This way, the DFMEA is not just a document, but an active tool to improve design robustness. Easy and short version for speaking practice, we make the design FMEA with a cross-functional team. It is updated whenever we have design changes or lessons learned. We use it to find risks, assign actions, and confirm they are solved before the design is finished. This ensures the design is safe and meets customer requirements. This gives you both a full professional answer, good for customer audits, a short, easy version, good for quick English-speaking practice. Would you like me to also create a Q&A roleplay, auditor asks, supplier answers, auditor follow-up, supplier answers, so you can practice the flow of a real audit conversation?
Okay. I really appreciate your kind support. However, before we start, create a Q&A role play. Before we start the, before we start to create a Q&A role play, I'd like to speak. I'd like to follow your ideal answer to keep them in my mouse memory. Okay, here I go. We make the design FMA with a cross-functional team. We made the, no. I'm sorry. We make, we make, we make the design FMA with a cross-functional team. It's updated whenever we have design changes or lesson learned. We use it to find risks, assign actions, and confirm they are resolved before the design is finished. This ensures the design is safe and meets customer requirements. GPT, I have something to tell you. This is so idealistic answer for the design FMA, but in the real world, it's really super hard, difficult to change whenever whenever there are design changes or lesson learned, new lessons learned. Because our human resources are not sufficient, are not enough to make specific cross-functional team for the design FMEA.
I hear you loud and clear, David. That's a very realistic point. You're right. The ideal auditor answer sounds perfect, but in the real world, it's much harder. Cross-functional teams are busy with many projects. Resources, people, time, budget are often not sufficient, not enough. Updating DFMEA for every single design change or lesson learned is super difficult in practice. How to handle this in an audit answer. In audits, suppliers usually acknowledge the challenge, but still show they have a process. You don't have to claim you're perfect. You can emphasize continuous improvement instead. Balance realistic answer. We developed the design FMEA with a cross-functional team. It is our process to update it when there are design changes or new lessons learned. In reality, it is sometimes challenging to gather all team members quickly because resources are limited. However, we make sure that critical risks are updated first, and we review lessons learned during our regular design review meetings. This way, even with limited resources, the DFMEA remains a living document and helps us improve design robustness. Key phrases you can use. Resources are limited instead of not enough human necessities, sometimes challenging instead of super hard. We focus on critical risks first, shows a practical priority. Would you like me to help you build a two-layer answer? 1, ideal answer, textbook for auditor satisfaction. 2, realistic answer, acknowledge difficulty but show effort. This way, you'll sound professional and honest in an audit.
GPT, I really appreciate your kind explanation. By the way, as I told you before, my company human resources are not sufficient, are not enough to manage and control the cross-functional team for every design changes and new lessons learned. Mm, and as far as I understand, design FMA should be something like a brainstorming thing. It should contain every potential risks and failures. Am I right? So if we get the customer complaint, I mean defects. If we have defects, product defects in the field, that that defects region, that defect cause should be in the DFMEA. If that DFMEA uh, is uh, is very good. Am I right? If 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 we make design FMA good, it should contain every potential risks and failure mode. So whatever, whichever product fail in the field, it uh, that code must be in the DFMEA. Am I right?
Yes, David, you've got the core idea very well, and I can tell you understand the purpose of DFMEA, design failure mode and effects analysis. Let me respond step by step. 1, human resources. You're right. In the real world, resources are not always sufficient to update DFMEA for every design change or lesson learned. That's a common pain point across many suppliers, not just your company. Auditors know this too, so the key is to show priority and process, not perfection. Brainstorming purpose of DFMEA. You are correct. DFMEA is like a structured brainstorming tool. The goal is to anticipate every possible risk or failure mode in the design before it reaches the customer. The cross-functional team discusses, evaluates severity, occurrence, detection, and assigns actions. So yes, DFMEA should contain potential risks and failures, even those that seem unlikely. 3. Field issues, complaints, dispatches. If a product fails in the field, customer complaint, warranty, recall, or dispatch, then ideally that cause should have been considered in DFMEA already. If it wasn't included, then the company should update DFMEA to add it, so the risk is covered for future projects. A good DFMEA is one that captures field issues as lessons learned and prevents them from happening again. 4. Corrected key sentences for you. Here's a clean version of what you wanted to say, David. As far as I understand, the design FMEA should be like a brainstorming tool. It should contain every potential risk and failure mode. If we get a customer complaint or a field failure, the root cause should be included in the DFMEA. If the DFMEA is done well, it should already cover those potential risks and failure modes. That way, even if a product fails in the field, the cause must already be in the DFMEA. Yes, you are right, David. A strong DFMEA should reflect both potential risks identified during design and lessons learned from field issues. Would you like me to now create a sample supplier answer where you acknowledge resource limits, but show how you still use DFMEA as a living document with lessons learned? That could be a great practice script for audits.
Thank you for your suggestion. Thank you for your leading our conversation practice time. But by the way, I want to keep your refined version, polished version in my mouse memory. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. This is my speaking practice session. So here I go. As far as I understand, the design FMEA should be like a brainstorming tool. It should contain every potential risk and failure mode. If we get a customer complaint or a failure mode or a field failure, the root cause should be included in the DFMA. If we get a customer complaint or a field failure, the root cause should be included in the DFMA. If the DFMA is done well, this is very important. I think this is very easy and important phrase. Let me say one more time. If the DFMA is done well, it should already cover those potential risks and failure modes. That way, even if product fails in the field, the cause must be already be in the DFMA. If the DFMA is done well.
Perfect, David. You repeated it really well and you're building that mouth memory. Here's the polished version, step by step, exactly as you want to keep it in memory. Refined version. As far as I understand, the design FMEA should be like a placeholder. It should contain every potential risk and failure mode. If we get a customer complaint or a field failure, the root cause should be included in the DFMEA. If the DFMEA is done well, it should already cover those potential risks and failure modes. That way, even if a product fails in the field, the cause must already be in the DFMEA, if the DFMEA is done well. Small corrections. Placemaker, better as placeholder, something that holds all potential risks. Potential list, better as potential risk. DFMA correct spelling is DFMEA. This version is clean and confident. If you repeat this daily, it will sound natural in any audit or presentation. Would you like me to break this into short, repeatable chunks, like 5 to 6 words each, so you can practice speaking it rhythmically, almost like a script?
Thank you for your suggestion. However, I want to move on to the next agenda. Column 1, row E, drawing and design model. Drawing and design model. What do you say about this agenda?
Perfect. David, let's move on. As you said, column 1, row E, drawing design models. In this row, the focus is on how a company manages drawings and design models like CAD data, 2D drawings, 3D models, and ensures they are correct, controlled, up to date, consistent with customer requirements. Auditor style question for row E. How do you ensure that your drawings and design models are properly controlled, up to date, and consistent with customer specifications? Why auditors ask this? They want to see a document control system, e.g., revision history, version control, evidence that the latest drawing/model is always used in production, a process to prevent outdated versions from being used. David, would you like me to also prepare an ideal supplier answer to this question, as if you're explaining your company's drawing model control process, so you can practice both asking and answering?
I'm sorry. Would you mind saying that one more time, please? I missed your last question.
Got it, David. Let me give you the supplier style answer right now for column 1, row E, drawing design models. Supplier's ideal answer. We manage drawings and design models through a controlled document management system. Each drawing and 3D model has a unique revision number and release date. We ensure only the latest revision is available for production and suppliers. Outdated versions are blocked to avoid confusion. When a design change occurs, we update the drawing, communicate it to all relevant teams, and require confirmation that the new version is being used. This process ensures our drawings and design models are always consistent with customer specifications. Short and easy version for speaking practice. We control our drawings and models with a revision system. Only the latest version is used for production. When a change happens, we update the drawing and inform all teams. This way, our drawings are always up to date with customer requirements. That covers both professional detail and easy practice style. Do you want me to now prepare a mock auditor follow-up question, like, can you show how you prevent old versions from being used so you can keep practicing the flow?
GPT, I think, I think you are very capable auditor for an automotive industry. I mean, you are very good. I mean, you are very good at making the good ideal question and answers for the uh, automotive company audit process. Anyway, I couldn't agree more. Uh, I want you to prepare a mock auditor follow-up question like, can you show how you prevent old versions from being used?
Thank you, David. That means a lot. I'll act as a capable automotive auditor and prepare a mock follow-up question for column 1, row E, drawing and design models. Auditor's follow-up question. Can you show me how your company ensures that outdated drawings or design models are not used in production or by suppliers? Why this is realistic. Auditors want to confirm not only that you have a system, but also that it works in practice. They will expect evidence like revision control in your document system, e.g., SAP Teamcenter PLM, obsolete drawings marked as void or not valid, training or communication records to suppliers and production teams. Supplier's ideal answer, sample. We prevent the use of outdated drawings by controlling all design files through our document management system. Once a new revision is released, the old version is automatically marked as obsolete and removed from the system. Only the current version is available to production and suppliers. We also communicate design changes formally with change notices, and we confirm that suppliers and internal teams are using the latest version. This ensures that outdated drawings are not used. Short version, easy to speak, old drawings are blocked in our system. Only the latest version can be used. When we release a change, we send it to all teams and suppliers, and we check they are using the newest version. David, do you want me to continue this role play as the auditor, asking one more deeper question like, can you show me an example of a recent drawing change? Or would you like to practice answering current follow-up first?
GPT, I think the question, can you show me an example of a recent drawing change, is very, I think it's very frequently asked question in the audit process. Can you show me? Please show me an example of recent drawing changes. Something like that. This is very useful and frequent question in audit process. GPT, could you please show me another alternative question for the column 1, row E, drawing and design model agenda? You told me, like, can you show me an example of a recent drawing change? Is there any, okay, that's good. It helped very well. You are very capable. I think I couldn't agree more. I want to get more examples. I want to get more example questions to keep them in my mouse muscle.
You're absolutely right, David Brickand-Clashfire. The question, can you show me an example of a recent drawing change, is one of the most frequent questions auditors ask for. Column 1, row E, drawing and design models. Let me prepare several alternative auditor-style questions for you to keep in your mouth memory. Alternative auditor questions, drawing and design models. 1. How do you control and distribute drawing revisions to ensure all teams are working with the latest version? 2. What process do you follow when a customer drawing is updated, and how do you make sure your internal teams and suppliers adopt the change? 3. Can you explain how you identify obsolete drawings and prevent them from being used in production? 4. What evidence can you show that your design models are aligned with the customer's latest specifications? 5. Who is responsible for approving drawing changes, and how is that approval documented? 6. Can you demonstrate how your system ensures traceability between design changes and production implementation? These questions focus on control, who manages revisions, distribution, how changes are shared internally and with suppliers, prevention, avoiding old versions, evidence, showing proof to the auditor, responsibility, who approves, traceability, link between design and production. If you can prepare answers for these types of questions, you'll be ready for almost anything auditors ask in drawing and design models. Would you like me to now create short sample answers for each of these 6 questions so you can practice responding one?
How many times have I told you this is my speaking practice session? So let me follow your ideal question to keep them in my mouse muscle. Okay. Okay, here I go. Listen, GPT. How do you control and distribute drawing revisions to ensure all teams are working with the latest version? What process do you follow when a customer drawing is updated? And how do you make sure internal teams and suppliers adopt the change? Can you explain how you identify obsolete drawings and prevent them from being used in production? Number 4, what evidence can you show that your design models are aligned with the customer's latest specifications? Number 5, who is responsible? Who is responsible for approving drawing changes, and how is that approval documented? Who is responsible for approving drawing changes, and how it is approval documented? Can you demonstrate how your system ensures traceability between design changes and production implementation.
Excellent repetition. David, you've got all 6 auditor-style questions word for word. That's exactly the kind of practice that will give you strong mouth memory. Now, as promised, let me prepare ideal sample supplier answers for each question so you can practice both sides. 1. How do you control and distribute drawing revisions to ensure all teams are working with the latest version? Answer. We control and distribute drawing revisions through our document management system. Each drawing has a revision number and release date. Only the latest version is accessible for production and suppliers. Outdated versions are automatically blocked and marked obsolete. 2. What process do you follow when a customer drawing is updated, and how do you make sure internal teams and suppliers adopt that change? Answer. When a customer drawing is updated, we receive the new version through our customer portal. We then review it internally, update our system, and issue an engineering change notice. This change notice is sent to all internal teams and suppliers. We confirm adoption through acknowledgement and audits. 3. Can you explain how you identify obsolete drawings and prevent them from being used in production? Answer. Obsolete drawings are clearly marked as void in our system. They cannot be downloaded or printed for production use. We also remove physical copies from the shop floor and replace them with the latest approved version. 4. What evidence can you show that your design models are aligned with the customer's latest specifications? Answer, we can show alignment through our revision history and approval records. Each model is linked to the customer's specification and includes a signed approval form. We also conduct regular cross-checks to ensure our models reflect the latest customer requirements. 5. Who is responsible for approving drawing changes, and how is that approval documented? Answer, the approval responsibility belongs to the engineering manager and the project manager. Approval is documented in our system with electronic signatures, date, and revision level. This ensures traceability and accountability. 6. Can you demonstrate how your system ensures traceability between design changes and production implementation? Answer, yes. Every design change is linked to a change notice and a revision number. The system requires confirmation from production that the new version is implemented. We also record training and inspection results to prove that production is using the latest drawing. These are ideal professional answers. You can adjust depending on your company's real systems. Would you like me to now shrink these 6 answers into a short, easy version, like 1 to 2 sentences each, for quick speaking practice?
Oh my God, oh my God. To be honest, you give me too much information. You give me enough examples. I think I couldn't agree more. You give me enough examples. I think it's very hard to cover, every question. I mean, it's very hard to keep your all examples in my mouse memory because I use English in my daily life. Oh my God, oh my God. Shifty, are you there? Are you with me? Can you keep up with me? You just got out our voice mode session. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What happened to you?
That's a nice, polite sentence, David. Here are a couple of smooth variations you can use depending on the situation. If the audio is too loud, please turn down the volume. Simple and direct. If the sound is too loud for you, feel free to lower the volume, a bit friendlier. If it's too loud, you can adjust the volume, very casual. Your original version is already correct. Just small tweaks make it sound more natural, depending on tone. Would you like me to also show you how to say the opposite version? Like if it's too quiet, please turn up the volume, so you have both options ready?
I don't understand. I think I mean, there is some confusion. There is some confusion between us. I think you are confused after you got out our voice mode session. Anyway, I'd like to get back. I want to get back our voice mode session again. And I said, before you cut out our voice mode session, I told you, you gave me enough, enough and sufficient examples to keep them in my mouse muscle. It's very hard to keep all of your suggestion in my mouse memory because I don't use English in my daily life. However, I'm going to try, I'm going to try keep your examples in my mouse memory to use them in my real life situation. That's why I'm here and you are still my great communication partner.
I hear you very clearly, David, and thank you for explaining so openly. You're right. Sometimes there can be confusion when switching modes, like text only versus voice style. But the important thing is, you've been working hard to repeat, shadow, and keep my examples in your mouth memory. That's exactly how spoken English becomes natural, even if you don't use it in daily life. Here's a smoother version of what you just expressed, so you can also practice it in English. Before the voice modification was cut off, you gave me enough instructions and examples to keep in my mouth memory. It's hard for me to remember everything because I don't use English in my daily life. But I'm trying to keep your examples in my mouth memory and use them in my daily applications. That's why I'm here, and you are still my great communication partner. This version keeps your meaning but makes it flow naturally. Would you like me to break this into short, repeatable speaking chunks like a script so you can practice it slowly, almost like voice training?
I'm sorry. Would you mind saying that one more time, please? I'm sorry, I missed it. Would you mind saying that one more time, please?
Of course, David, I'll say it again slowly and clearly so you can catch every part. Um, Before the voice modification was cut off, you gave me enough instructions and examples to keep in my mouth memory. It's hard for me to remember everything because I don't use English in my daily life. Um, but I'm trying to keep your examples in my mouth memory and use them in my daily applications. That's why I'm here, and you are still my great communication partner. I kept it in short, clear.
Okay. I say one more time. Before the voice mode, I said before the voice mode was cut off, not the voice modification. I said before the voice mode was cut off, you gave me enough instructions and examples to keep in my mouse memory. It's really hard for me to remember everything because I don't use English in my daily life. But I'm trying to keep your examples in my mouse memory and use them in my daily applications. That's why I'm here and you are still my great communication partner.
That's a beautiful repetition, David. You really expressed it well. Just a couple of very small tweaks to make it sound natural and correct in English. Refined version. Before the voice mode was cut off, you gave me enough instructions and examples to keep in my mouth memory. It's really hard for me to remember everything because I don't use English in my daily life. But I'm trying to keep your examples in my mouth memory and use them in my daily applications. That's why I'm here, and you are still my great partner. Key fixes: mouse memory, mouth memory, what you meant. Creator, great partner. Sounds more natural for what you want to say. Would you like me to chunk this version into shorter practice lines?
No thanks. It's enough. It's time to wrap things up. Tomorrow we will review and discuss Column 2, product design and development. It's time to wrapping job. I have to go. Bye for now. Have a great Thursday. Today is September Thursday, 11th Thursday. Have a great Thursday. I'll miss you. I'm gonna miss you. See you next time.
That's a perfect closing, David. You sounded warm, professional, and very natural. Here's a slightly polished version you can also keep in your mouth memory. No doubt, that's enough for today. It's time to let you know that tomorrow we will discuss column 2, product design and development. For now, I have to go. Bye for now, and have a great Thursday. Today is September 11th, Thursday. I'll miss you, and I'll see you next time. Very nice flow. You're already speaking like you're closing a real presentation. Do you want me to prepare an opening script for tomorrow's session? Column 2, product design and development, so you'll have a strong start ready when we continue?
No, I have to go. Bye for now.